Okay.
Hey, hey, welcome. All right, I'm gonna let people in so I'm not distracted.
I'll do that. Yeah.
Okay, welcome everyone to tonight's team call. I'm so excited to be here. I really am not huge on public speaking, but it helps me learn and grow and it helps me push. I'm Erin Boyer. I've been a coach for 9 years. I'm a lifetime 5-star diamond, and I am so grateful for Scotty's leadership, and he's kind of taken me under his wing. I've been to leadership with him, I think 6 times, which has been awesome. Learned so much. And tonight, our call is on the growth game plan, which they presented at leadership this past year. I wasn't able to attend, but the growth game plan is in the BODi Partner app. So make sure you have that app. That's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to screen share it so that you can see it, but just make sure that you have that, because the national wake up calls on there, like everything you need to know is in that app if you don't have it yet. One announcement I did want to make is November 16th. We are doing what is partner call to help people understand what we do for our business. So if you have people who are interested in joining you or curious about what we do as partners, please invite them to that call, because it's going to be great. It's a great way for them to get to see other coaches, other partners, and get to just get to know, ask some questions, stuff like that. So I don't think there's any other announcements as far as I know, but yeah, Scotty, if you don't mind sharing your screen, that would be awesome. Okay, so this is, like I said before, this is in the BODi Partner app, so make sure you have that, download it on your phone, your iPad, wherever. Over here on the left-hand side, you can see that this is where it will take you. You can see the national wake-up call is now starting on Monday. It's now on this app. It won't be on Facebook anymore. The project growth, the 10 steps to success, that's what we're going over today. So make sure you can click through that. If we're going to go through it pretty quick tonight, just because we're trying to respect your time, 30 minutes and done. So if you have any questions, you can always reach out to your coach, reach out to me, whatever. But yeah, we're just going to get started. So at the top, it actually says, sorry, Scotty, it actually says why we created this plan. And do you see it right? And you don't have to click on it, but right there, they have the panel that they hosted at leadership. They have the video. It's about an hour, and it's really good information. A lot of the top coaches are on that panel, and it's just great tips and basically why they created it. So you can listen to that if you'd like. You don't have to, but okay, here we go. So number 1, yes, you found it. Thank you. Number 1 is pick your daily routine. I loved in that video, they said, we are not going to make this mind blowing, which I loved that, because a lot of times mind blowing equals overwhelm. Or for me anyway, and it's like, I don't know if I can do this. There's so many things. This is so simple and so basic. Anyone, whether you signed up 9 years ago like I did, or if you signed up yesterday, anyone can do this, and it's very basic. So stick with me. Pick your own daily routine. You guys, we've been preaching this for years and years and years. Know what your fitness routine is. Pick a program and stick with it from start to finish. Get a transformation. It doesn't necessarily have to be physical. It can be mental. It can be emotional. It can be just something that gets you through the holidays. Maybe the holidays is really hard for you, and this is something that you can focus on. So pick a fitness program, pick a nutrition program, pick something, mindset. Growth Day launches November 9th. Hopefully you're planning on getting that, and you can run a group for specifically mindset if that is your thing. So know your plan for the rest of the year. Decide what that is. If you want to write that down tonight so that you know exactly what you're doing. For me, I'm finishing up Muscle Burns Fat Super Block. I'm going right into XP Sculpt and Sweat Super Block, and then I'm hitting Dig Deeper Hard in December. I'm not waiting till January. I'm going to hit it in December, and then I'm going to start a second group in January. So we're going to start it before Christmas. I've always done it that way, and I've had those my VIP group starts before Christmas, and it really ends the year off strong, and it kicks January off stronger because I already have results and transformations from people that I can show in January. So then January kicks off strong. So that is my plan. Okay, number 2, identify who you want to help. So what was your problem, or why did you sign up, or why did you start this business? For me, I was working as many hours as I could. My husband was working 2 jobs. We needed some extra money. This was something that I could do in the cracks of my day. I was actually a personal trainer at the gym. I was taking on as many clients as I could. I was teaching and subbing as many classes as I could, but I just wasn't making enough. And the only way I could make more was to actually be there. But I wanted to be home with my 3 kids. So this way I was able to fit it in the cracks of my day before I went to work. If a client canceled, I was able to cancel that. I was able to work on the treadmill while I was waiting for my next client. And then after my kids went to bed. So you can make it work whenever. Find the problem that identifies with you and that you are so passionate about. I needed to make extra money. I wanted my husband to quit his second job. I never saw him. And I felt like I never saw my kids. So make sure that you have something that you're passionate about, and you know the problem that you are trying to help somebody. For me right now, I mean, I have that story, and that's part of my story. But now that I'm older, I'm 44, my mission is to help women over 40 who want to be strong and healthy and have a great quality of life. Not for somebody who wants to be 10% body fat, not for somebody who wants to be the fittest person or the strongest person or the whatever in the room. That's not my goal. My goal is to be a 95-year-old grandma that can still hang out with her grandkids and maybe play kickball or something. You know what I mean? Like, that's my goal. And those are the people that I'm talking to. Okay, so figure out who you want to help. What's your niche? Who are you going to help? Number 3, choose what type of support you want to offer. So when I first signed up, we had Facebook. That was it. I know the coaches before me, they were doing, I don't even remember, because that was before my time. I was not on social media. I was not a social media guru at that time. Facebook was it. And even at that, I posted very minimal. And then I added in Instagram, and those are my 2 social medias right now. And that has worked for me, and it's great, but there's so many other platforms that you can use. So make sure you choose one that you are passionate about and what connects with you and your people. So you can do one-on-one groups, you can do a text group, you can do a messenger thread, WhatsApp. I actually just started a Planks Giving Challenge free group on WhatsApp. This is brand new to me, and we are kind of going through the kinks. I've got some people who can't download the app. I've got some people who can't join for whatever reason. And so I'm really trying to go through it. I really didn't want to change it up, but I knew I needed something that was like a medium base, if that makes sense. Like, I've got people on Instagram who don't have Facebook. I have people on Facebook who don't have Instagram. So I had to find something that was a little more neutral. And so that's why we're trying WhatsApp. Pros and cons to that, but there's also Marco Polo. You can do Snapchat, Facebook groups, BOD groups, and then soon there's the Growth Day groups that we'll be able to use as well. So there we go. One thing that I loved in the video, and yeah, you can scroll down. I love these micro groups that they were talking about right here, these pictures. She uses I think it's Facebook Messenger from what I can tell. She didn't really specify, but it was such a great idea. She has 2 micro groups. One is the locker room and one is the kitchen. So the same people are in each group, so in these little pods, but they know when they go to the kitchen, they're going to see recipes, they're going to see meal plans, they're going to see what's on their plate, they're going to see all the food in the kitchen. The locker room is their sweaty selfies and their workouts and just all the, like, what program they're doing, all of those types of things in the locker room. So I love that it's very specific and it's not like together. That's another way to kind of get excited and push through. Also the 5 a.m. club, I really like that as well. Lindsay Matway does have like a Zoom that everybody can jump on when you're doing your workout and do like a group workout. You can see who else is on. It doesn't necessarily have to be 5 a.m. I know it's open all of the time. I don't have that link right off the top of my head, but if you want it, I'm happy to share it. But I know that that's a great way to kind of form accountability and group as well. So that was number 3. Oh, one thing I did want to focus on was keep it simple. Please keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Keep it simple for you. Keep it simple for your people. It seems like we got into the more we can offer, the better. And I feel like with my Planksgiving group, it was very basic. We started it November 1st. And I said in my post, like, we are going to be planking and we're going to share a few fall recipes. That's it. I'm not going in live. I'm not doing all these fancy posts. I'm not like, no, we're keeping it basic. We're focusing on just being consistent for the 23 days. And I feel like that's why a lot of my people wanted to join, was because it was going to be simple and it wasn't going to be me like at them all day long, if that makes sense. So, okay, cool. Number 4, share your own routine. If you've been a coach for a while, you know this is what we do, right? Sorry, I need a drink. Share your own routine. We share our stories. We share our reels. And there's examples in here of sharing your morning routine. You can share your goals. I feel like Scotty is really, really good at sharing his goals. People know what he's shooting for. They know what program he's on. They know all of those things. So goals are awesome. Share your shake routine. When do you drink your shake? Like everybody who follows me knows that I drink my shake in the afternoon. I'm not a breakfast Shakeology drinker. I'm an after school Shakeology drinker, because that's when I want sugar. That's when my sweet cravings hit. And so I want to have my Shakeology then. So all of my followers know that that's when I have it. But also when you're sharing your routines and you're sharing what you do, be sure you're sharing why you do them. Why do you do them? Why? If you don't share why, you're missing the whole point. If you don't share why you're drinking your shake, if you don't share why you have your morning routine or why you're setting your goals or any of that, you're not making the connection. If you're just sharing what you're doing, the people on the other side of the computer are saying, good for you, right? Way to go. I'm glad. I'm happy for you. But that doesn't connect you. You need to connect. And so you need to share why you're doing those things so that they can be like, oh, maybe that's something I should do too, because I have that similar goal. So make sure you're sharing why when you're sharing all of your routines, when you're sharing your workout, when you're sharing, like, you're connecting with that emotional side of things. That's the best way to be able to connect with your future prospects. And then this video, the 3Ds of sales, when you jump into the app, it's under number 4. It's about 15 minutes long. It's short, it's sweet. Brandon is awesome to listen to, right? And so it would be a great personal development something. If you don't have a lot of time, you can just pop that on. But the 3Ds are demonstration, which I basically just talked about, right? Demonstrate your routine, demonstrate your shake routine, whatever. So demonstrate your life and who you are, And then he says to find the demonstration mix that you like. So it might be a little bit of your kids. It might be a little bit of your morning routine. It might be a little bit, right? I think most of us probably know this unless you're super duper new. And then the second D is discover. So when you're discovering, you are asking questions. So when people see, they're like, oh man, I love your morning routine. When they make comments like that, or you're trying to get to know people, you can say, well, do you have a morning routine, or what does your morning routine look like? And it might be they get up, they grab a cup of coffee, they take kids to school, and they go to work, right? They might not have a morning routine where they're setting goals or where they're getting a workout in or whatever. And so then that's where the conversation can start, and you can start asking them, well, do you work out? Or because maybe they work out in the afternoon, right? So that you can connect with them once you discover what they are doing. And then the third one is direct. And then you can direct them to how you can help them solve their problem, right? Because they're so tired. They just go straight to work after taking their kids to school, and they're so tired and they have no energy. Well, maybe they should get up 30 minutes earlier and get their workout in, and they'll probably see that they actually have more energy, not less. And then he actually adds one last one. He sneakily adds one last one at the end of the video, and it's deadline. And I love this part, and I really want to make sure everybody understands this, because I feel like this either makes or breaks your business. And he goes into detail in this video. But if you do not set a deadline for your groups, for your what is coaching, I always want to say coaching, what is partnering with BODi groups or whatever, if you do not set a deadline, you are missing out on 80% of your sales. Seriously, 80%. You guys make sure you're setting a deadline. I know it's hard. Sometimes I don't, and I wish I did. Or especially listening to this video now, I'm like, okay, I got to have a deadline for all of these things. I was just looking at my emails today, actually, and I get quite a few from retail shops, especially now that Christmas is coming up. Every single one of them's like, you get 20% off until tonight. The deadline. They're setting the deadline. What am I going to do if that's a product that I want? I'm going to go order it. I just ordered hair products last night because it was 50% off until last night. 10:30 at night, I'm ordering hair product because I wanted that 50% off, right? So make sure you're setting that deadline. And another thing he brought up was Prime Day. Amazon doesn't need to have a Prime Day, but they have a Prime Day because it's a deadline. You need to order by this time. And then all of a sudden their sales are skyrocketed out of the roof for those 2 days, right? So make sure you set a deadline. Okay. Number 5, use combo starters on your social media. So this is where you tell stories. This is where you tell stories about how you started. This is little bits and pieces. Scotty always tells a story about the school bus, right? And people relate to that. I tell stories about when I first started coaching, and my husband was working 2 jobs and I was working all the hours I could, and I hardly got to see my kids. My husband had to put my kids to bed because I was working at the gym until late, because that's when my clients could, right? So tell those stories that people can relate with, especially now during Christmas. A lot of people are working overtime, especially if they're in retail or if they're in the food industry or whatever, and they probably don't want to, right? So start talking about those things. But try not, what I have learned is that if you're telling a story, if it gets too lengthy, a lot of times you'll lose people in it. So then you want to take bits and pieces of the story and make them into multiple posts, or talk about it on your stories or whatever, so that you have multiple parts of your story into different posts. So you're still connecting with people throughout the week or throughout the month, if that makes sense. You can do testimonials. So right here in the social posts, fill in the blank social posts, there's tons of samples of different conversation starters that you can do. If you scroll all the way down, we lost the screen, Scotty. I'm not sure. There we go. So there's tons of different starters. If you scroll all the way down to number 16, Scotty, there's like a Mad Lib right here, and it's basically a story and a post and an invite. So you can take that, you can switch it up, make it sound a little bit more like you into your story, but it's a great starter and a way to kind of get the wheels turning in your head. Still, 9 years in, I wake up in the morning sometimes and I'm like, crap, I don't know what I'm going to post today. This is a great way to get those wheels turning, because some days I'm just not as creative as I am other days. Other days I'm like, oh, I got 10 posts, no problem. And then just kind of depends, right? I'm assuming most people are that way. So these Mad Libs are helpful for all of us. Cool. Thank you. Okay. Let's go on to number 6. Invite people to join you. So one of the things that the panel talked about was when they would see screenshots of their partners, like trying to invite somebody, there wasn't necessarily a real invite. It was more like, hey, I like your shirt. And they were trying to connect, but they never really sent an invite, and they couldn't figure out why people weren't joining them. So they weren't actually sending the invite like, hey, do you want to do this with me? So really make sure that when you're sending an invite, that it really is an invite and it's not just a connection, because those two things are different. The memory jogger right here on who to invite is awesome. And then there's sample invites as well. You can read through those on your own. I have one that I wrote down that I wanted to share just to kind of give you another example. This is one that I use often when it's somebody that I feel like is ready to join my group. And it's usually, I like to invite people who are watching my stories, people who like or comment on my reels, my posts, and stuff like that, people that I've had conversations with. So my invite is, hey, Sarah, can you believe it's November already? I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing well. I actually learned that from a guy that I used to personal train. He was in HR and he always started his emails that way. And it just made me really like, oh, that's really thoughtful. Like, that's really nice. So I always add that into my invites because I want them to know that I'm thinking of them as well. I'm not just shooting this invite out like cold turkey. You know what I mean? So, hey, Sarah, can you believe it's November already? I hope you're doing well. I don't know if you saw, but I have a new health and fitness accountability group starting up on November 13th. It's a group of like-minded women wanting to keep health a priority. Is this something you'd like to learn more about? So when you're sending an invite, you always want to finish with a question. Always, because if you don't finish with a question, a lot of times they're just going to keep on scrolling, right? So always, how does that sound? It just put that question mark on the end. Do not say, please let me know. Do not say that. They will not let you know. I promise after 9 years, please let me know, does not work. Okay. And another example is when you do a post with an invite, we all do those, right? We're supposed to. When you do a post with an invite and you want everybody on your social media to know that you're doing this next group on November 13th, if you just do that post and you expect lots of people to reach out to you and talk to you and like say that they're joining, some people might, but a lot of times people don't, right? Because they don't think that you're talking to them. If Jen said, hey, I'm having a big dinner party at my house Sunday night, you're invited on Facebook, I would look at that and be like, cool, good for her. But I wouldn't think she's talking to me, right? Unless she put an invite in the mail or she messaged me on Messenger and said, hey, I'm having a dinner. I don't know if you saw, but I'm having a dinner party. Would you like to come? I would love to have you come, right? So it's more personable. So make sure you're doing the behind the scene invites along with your posts. You need to make that connection. You'll have a lot more success that way rather than just throwing the post out there, hoping that people are going to connect with that. Okay, cool. Number 7. How are we doing on time? Okay. Follow up with previous conversations. There's lots of examples here. Make sure you're keeping a list of people that you've had conversations with, of people who said, yes, I will watch this sample video, or I will watch this, da 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 da. Make sure you're following up with them, because they're not going to get back to you even if they watched it. I sent the what is a body partner video to a girl a couple weeks ago, and I followed up with her on Friday, I think, and she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I haven't watched it, but I'm gonna watch it this weekend. I was like, cool. Guess what I did Monday morning? I followed up. Guess who still didn't watch the video? But she also didn't respond either, because she knew that she committed to watch it and she didn't. Guess who responded today that said, by the way, I watched that video, right? Because I followed up, and she was like, ah, crap. If I wouldn't have followed up, she never would have watched it, right? So make sure you're following up. You have to. That's where 80% of my sales come from. Follow-ups are huge, 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 huge. So make sure you're doing that. And please remember, don't take no's personal. Remember, no's are a not yet. I've had people watch me for years and finally be like, okay, I'm ready, right? It's not about you. It's not. It's about them and their timeline and when they're ready. So please don't take it personal. Cool. Okay, number 8, expand your market. Expanding your market, honestly, for me personally, this is probably one of the hardest things for me to do. But the way I do it when I make myself sit down and actually do this part is finding groups on Facebook of things that I like to do, right? Mom groups, or like my kids are in sports, those kinds of things. On Instagram, I like to find somebody that I enjoy following that has a really big following, like over 100,000, 200, 300,000 people. And then I go through the people who are commenting, because then I know that they're active on Instagram. And then I click on their profile. I see if we have stuff in common, and then I go from there. That's how I expand. Another way that's actually worked for me really, really well is in person. When my daughter joins a new team, or my oldest daughter's on the high school cheerleading team, every year it's a new team. There's some that stay on, but there's always new people coming in. So there's always new moms to get to know, always new friends to make. And that's the way that we can make connections. And even if you like, hey, let me follow you on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, and you made that connection there, then they can start seeing what you're posting and what you're all about, right? So that is a huge way in person, because then they know that you're real. I feel like it's easier to connect that way, and they can know, like, and trust you a little bit faster than if they only see you on social media. So make sure you're talking about it in real life too. Okay. That was number 8. Number 9, always have 10 in play. This little video is less than a minute. If you push play on that, we don't need to, but basically you should have 10 people that you are talking to at all times, 10 people. So 10 people you're talking about your groups, about being a partner, about joining your team, all of those things. So if somebody says, no, thank you, you're going to take them out of that list and you're going to add somebody new into that. If somebody says, yes, I'd like to, and they join your group or they join your team, you're going to take them off that list and you're going to add somebody else. So it is always revolving. It's always moving. If somebody says, no, please take them off that list and add somebody else, They might come back. Remember, a no is not forever, right? It's just a not yet. But you can ask them again in a month and you can start that conversation again. But don't always keep the same 10 people. You've got to keep it moving. Okay. And then duplicate is the very last one. We're almost done. Number 10 is duplicate. So duplicate with your team. Share this with anybody that you see who is not on this call, and share it with your team. The way that we are going to have growth with our team, the way we are going to help more people is by sharing it and making it duplicatable. Honestly, these 10 steps are super simple. If you scroll down a little bit, the Project Growth 10 Steps for Success, they have it right there. You can screenshot it. You can put it in your team page. You can ask who wants to do this with you. You can create a message pod, keep each other accountable. It's for the most part, pretty much stuff that we've been doing for years and years and years. They've just simplified it into 10 steps so that we can always have those things. But this is basically the tracker, right? Yeah, so right here, so you can screenshot this and send it to your teams, to your new partners, whoever, and it has all the great stuff. I love this plan. I love that it's so simple. I love that anybody could do this, whether you're working full-time, whether you're not working full-time, you're a full-time mama, you're whatever, you're in the military or you're going to school or whatever. I love that this is so simple and so duplicatable for everyone all the way down. So are there any questions or anything that we want to go over? I haven't even looked at the chat. I saw Scotty typing in there, so I was like, I'll let him figure that out. But I would be like all over the place if I looked.
There hasn't really been any questions, but if you do have questions, just unmute before we close and let us know. Anybody? I'll share something real quick. I got some thumbs up in there. Just one thought, just because I was at leadership, heard this presentation, I went through it on the BODi Partners app. I'm going to give you guys a piece of advice. Like, you guys are the CEOs of your business. Like, I love these team calls that the leaders are coming here to teach you, but you have to take the initiative to treat this like a business. And when we're telling you, like, the BODi Partners app is there, like, get in there and be curious about your business. Like, imagine if you bought a franchise, like a Subway franchise, and you invested however 50,000, whatever it might be for that franchise. You hire employees. You wouldn't just wait around and for the franchise guy to be like, hey, there's a new sandwich coming out. Like, you would be paying attention, like, what's new, what's coming up next, learning about it and implementing it right away. So I'm going to encourage you guys to be that person. That's how you get to a leadership role, like you see Aaron in, who did so awesome today, teaching today. But one other thing that was kind of taught around this subject as well that I want you guys to think about, maybe some of you guys can collaborate together as partner, like as accountability partners, or even more team-wide. We can have that conversation in the Dynasty Strong Level Up squad, maybe with a chat thread. But they talked about making an initiative for the end of the year, like something to get together as a team with your clients or your prospects and work towards in the next 60 days and kind of name that initiative. If you guys are watching Carl Deichler, you'll see he has a initiative he's talking about on his social media, on his Instagram, but you guys could also do that with your clients or your prospects. It could be, I mean, look, Erin's kind of doing like a Planksgiving thing that she's doing. Like, I don't have one put together yet. I want to work with some of my new partners and build one, but it could be like level up for 24 or whatever it could be. Like, come up with some sort of initiative and something to work on together, and then apply these simple 10 steps that Erin talked about. Cool. That's all I wanted to share. Anybody else have anything you want to share before we close out for today? Cool. All right, Erin. I want to say thank you, Erin, for leading this call today. Thank you guys for being on here live. And I love that we're trying to keep these shorter. I went long last week with my compensation plan call, but make sure that you're here next Thursday. We'll make the announcement by Sunday night with the image at the top of the team page so that you guys are aware of that. It's the same link, same time. So I would highly suggest like just taking the link whenever you see it, copying it, put it in your notes, so that when your alarm goes off on your phone on Thursday nights at 6:55 p.m. Mountain Time, you click the link and then you can just be here and you're not trying to search for it and whatnot. And then you're more prepared as well to invite your partners or your clients. So one piece of advice about these team calls, one thing that in the invite process that Aaron talked about is in this 10-step process was invite and follow up. This is something I'm sharing this because I don't really talk about this often, but whenever I have a prospect to become a partner, I invite them to team calls. Like, I'm like, hey, come see what we do. Come see how we train the team. Come see the community. And I don't wait for them to be a partner. I'm like, come watch. And I've had multiple people that'll come watch a meeting 1 or 2 times. I don't wait for just the coach opportunity call. And they're like, oh, okay, this is the type of training I get. This is the type of leadership I get. This is the type of people on this team. And it helps educate them, which is part of that process of inviting. So thank you guys for being on live. This will be recorded. So if you have a partner that couldn't be here, feel free to share it to them. I mean, share it with a prospect as well. If they're like, how does this partner thing work? You can share any of that. So see you guys inside the team page and next Thursday. All right. Thank you guys. And thanks again, Aaron.
Thanks, Scotty. Thanks, Aaron.